Hey, how's it going everybody? I hope you're all good. My name is Peter, and for this video, I will be talking about what we could see from Nintendo at this year's E3. Seeing as E3 had to get cancelled last year due to understandable circumstances, 2021's show will be an entirely digital event. And while this isn't exactly anything new for the Big N seeing as they took their E3 presence to a digital format years prior, I'm still hoping they put on a good show. So, what could we see from them? I've got a few ideas, but as a quick disclaimer, I could very well end up being wrong about all this. It's just fun to throw out predictions and see what sticks. So, without further ado, let's not waste any more time and get into it. The end of the February Nintendo Direct from earlier this year saw the reveal of Splatoon 3. An interesting announcement, as I imagine Splatoon to be a one entry per console kind of deal, like Mario Kart, but it's on the way to Switch next year either way. I think it's safe to say that we'll see more details, particularly how it will distinguish itself from Splatoon 2 so fans don't feel as if it will be too similar. This straight up streams Treehouse material. With Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 being the most recent characters to join the Smash Ultimate lineup, there are now 2 character slots remaining in the second Fighters Pass. And the question that's on everyone's minds is, well, who will they be? But the other question that's on our minds is, when can we expect to see them revealed? Personally, I'm making the prediction that we will see both slots revealed in the same presentation, either revealing one at the very start, then one at the very end like what E3 2019 did with Hero and Banjo-Kazooie, or maybe a combined reveal like in Sinnoh and Ken's trailer. If you ask me, I'd prefer the latter, as it could have the potential to possess the highest level of hype we've ever seen in Smash history. The thing is, these characters will have to go big if they want to make a big enough impact to end Ultimate's DLC off with a bang. This topic alone pretty much warrants its own separate video, but if I had to think of any specific characters, I would like to see one representing the PC or PlayStation corners of gaming, but in the latter's case, a first-party Sony-owned character, which I want to iterate before you ask, but what about Snake, Cloud, Joker and Sephiroth? Depending on whether Sony is up for this, which I will admit is pretty unlikely, I feel this would be the kind of reveal that is ideal to be saved for E3, and it would just make sense, seeing as it's the time of the year where the whole of the gaming industry all come together for one occasion. Plus, with Banjo and Steve's inclusions, we already have Microsoft on board, so having a PlayStation character could complete the console trinity we have going on between Xbox, PlayStation and Nintendo, making Smash Ultimate truly live up to the sentiment of it being the most ambitious crossover in gaming history. The February Direct also saw the reveal of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, but no information on the sequel to Breath of the Wild. However, Eiji Aonuma hinted towards the possibility of revealing more details later on in the year, and oh hey look, E3 2021, the perfect time to do so. Seeing as we've seen nothing from the sequel since its initial announcement in 2019, Zelda fans could be in for a treat. I think we'll see information regarding the premise of the story and how it continues on from Breath of the Wild, as well as what this sequel will do to stand out from its 2017 predecessor in terms of structure and gameplay mechanics. This presentation will naturally be a great time for Zelda fans, which, hey look, that's me! While Pokemon announcements are mostly given their own spotlight outside of E3, they still have somewhat of a presence during this time either way, so I wouldn't be surprised if we got more of an insight on Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and maybe even a closer look at Pokemon Legends Arceus. They just seem to be ideal candidates to be shown during a Treehouse segment. BDSP could possibly showcase content that couldn't be found in the DS originals as a way of reassuring fans that these remakes are not just copy and pasted chibi replicas of the source material, which currently seems to be an area of concern for fans, and understandably so if I'm going to be honest. But I am intrigued in seeing more details on how Legends will be structured. Despite the footage within its initial reveal having a pretty shaky frame rate, I hope Legends will be the game that gets me interested in Pokemon again, so I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic for the time being. Unfortunately, I have a feeling that we won't see anything from Metroid Prime 4 yet again. Maybe I'm just used to not expecting anything anytime soon, but Nintendo stated that it restarted development at some point in early 2019 if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if 2.5 years is enough time for them to be ready to show anything, so for the time being, I will continue not to get my hopes up. If anything, I'm glad that Retro Studios are taking their time with it. That way it can be cooked to perfection. And considering this is Retro we're talking about, I have faith that they will deliver like they have done so time and time again. If, in a slight chance, we do see something Prime 4 related, then it will of course be a pleasant surprise, and fans will rejoice as it will be a happy day indeed. With that being said, I've always thought there was a possibility that a 2D Metroid could be in the works for Switch as a way of giving us a little something to make the wait for Prime 4 a bit more bearable. A Samus Returns port, a Super Metroid remake, or even the highly demanded follow-up to Fusion that fans have wanted to see for almost 2 decades now, preferably the latter option if you ask me. After all, Samus Returns pretty much teased the possibility of a future for further 2D titles. Considering Fire Emblem's rise in prominence ever since the success of Awakening, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that continue with a new game announcement this year. Seeing as we got 3 different entries on the 3DS with roughly 2 to 3 year gaps between each one, I could see that trend continuing in the same way on the Switch. The question is, could it be a remake of one of the games that never made it outside of Japan, establishing an Echo sub-series that started with Shadows of Valentia? Or a new entry that expands on the direction that Three Houses took, putting further emphasis on the social simulation aspects and game-changing decisions? Feel free to let me know which one you would prefer in the comments. Could this finally be the time we see Bayonetta 3 get fully revealed? Ever since the 2017 Game Awards, fans have been eagerly awaiting further details on the Umbra Witch's next adventure, and Hideki Kamiya himself has seemingly teased the possibility, continuing to reassure us that development is going smoothly and that we might see something later on in 2021. With Nintendo heavily marketing the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Bros. Last year, and likely to go just as big on celebrating The Legend of Zelda's 35th for this year, 2021 also marks the 40th anniversary of Mario's actual first appearance being Donkey Kong on the arcade in 1981, and I can't help but feel like it wouldn't be right to forget the lovable tie-wearing ape. This is because DK's own series has become its own icon alongside Mario, with some of his games arguably being some of the greatest of what Nintendo has to offer. I've made a separate video on a few ways that I'd like to see DK's 40th being celebrated, but there is a chance Nintendo could just prioritise Zelda, so I'm not counting on it all that much. Considering a DK attraction for Super Nintendo World might as well be confirmed at this point, I feel like there still might be a chance we could see something, but we'll have to see. With the recent announcement of a Pikmin mobile game being worked on by Pokemon Go developers Niantic, could we see a new Switch original release to go alongside it? I honestly hope Pikmin 3 Deluxe isn't where Switch representation for the series stops, especially seeing as it has now single-handedly become the #1 best-selling Pikmin release in the entire franchise, so hopefully these are all indicators that Nintendo has a bigger plan for the little plant people. Even if it's not specifically Pikmin 4, please at the very least give us something new and refreshing that also stays true to what makes the main series so special to us. We've been waiting for over 8 years at this point. Please. Anyway, those were my predictions for Nintendo's presence at E3 2021, but before I end the video, I just want to provide a message that I think is important for us as the Nintendo community to keep in mind. Naturally, expectations for Nintendo to deliver the hype are incredibly high after fans have felt understandably deprived of substantial news this past year, but I think it's crucial to keep those expectations in check, especially when it comes to particular rumours or leaks that frequently make the rounds on the internet. Usually, I actively choose not to believe anything until we have seen first-hand official confirmation, because that way, I won't be setting myself up for disappointment if it doesn't come true. I feel like if we can actively question the legitimacy of these rumours, then we can be pleasantly surprised if they turn out to be real, not to mention avoid getting spoiled, and we can also potentially avoid a negative atmosphere if they end up being false. This is just something that has been on my mind as somebody who makes speculative Nintendo content for a hobby, and I just felt it was necessary to address. Anyway, on that note, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Feel free to let me know what your predictions are, or what you would like to see get revealed. I'd love to hear what you have to say, so get commenting. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see you later.